I'm posting this once. If it gets deleted, fine. If you think I'm lying, also fine. I need sleep. If you live in Asheville and you hear your name after midnight, don't answer. I don't care who it sounds like. I don't care if it sounds like you.
Last night, I woke up because somebody was in my hallway. No door slam, no broken glass, just boots on my floor. Slow, like they wanted me awake. My bedroom door was half open. I keep it closed, always. I grabbed the bat, said, "Who's there?" and watched a shadow at the end of the hall tilt its head. Then it said my name. Perfect tone. That's not a burglar. That's worse. I didn't call the cops. The two guys on our block would tell me to wait outside. I stood there with the bat and waited for the shadow to move. It didn't step. It just slid backward and was gone. The house went dead quiet. No fridge, no heater, no street noise. Then 3 knocks came from inside the wall by my headboard. That was last night. Here's how it started. I'm on the south side of Asheville. Not the beer tours, not the mountain selfies, real Asheville. Sagging porches, arguments, fireworks you pretend are fireworks. I rent a 1-bedroom behind a guy who sells washing machines from his yard and calls it a shop. I work nights. I don't bother my neighbors. They don't bother me. It was fine until about 3 weeks ago.
One night around 12:31, the power cut. Everything died at once. I looked out because I'm stupid and saw 3 beams coming straight down through the clouds. One white, one green, one dark red that made my teeth feel wrong. Not scanning, just hanging there. My neighbor Trevor was in his yard in shorts, waving up at the sky. I told him to go inside. He laughed. The red beam leaned toward him. Right then, I heard my mom say my name. She's been dead since 2020. I shut the blinds and didn't answer. The power came back after 2. Trevor's lights stayed off. I went to bed.
In the morning, he was on his porch. He looked fine until he smiled. The smile and the eyes didn't match. I asked, "You good?" He said, "Never better," in a tone that sounded pre-recorded. I went inside and locked the door. The next night, just before 12:30, the power cut again. 3 soft knocks hit my door. Then my own voice said, "It's safe." I was on the couch, so I knew it wasn't me. I stayed still. The knocking moved to my bedroom window. Not on the outside, inside the glass. I yanked the curtains down so hard the rod ripped out. A little later that week, closer to 1 a.m., I was eating cereal because sleep was a joke. Power cut again. I heard footsteps above me. I don't have an upstairs. I stood in the hall and listened to someone cross the ceiling, turn around, and cross back. I went outside and stared at my roof. Nothing there. When I came back in, the bathroom light was on. I hadn't touched it.
The next afternoon, at the gas station, a man turned and said my full name in my dad's voice. Then he smiled. I left the coffee and cash on the counter and walked out. My mailbox had 8 envelopes, all blank. Inside each was a card with one word: open. I put them in the trash and hauled it to the curb. I don't keep other people's words in my house. That evening I tried earplugs. It didn't matter. The house still felt close. I sat on the bed with the bat across my legs. Air slipped under the bedroom door and pulled at me. I didn't open it. I stared at it until daylight pushed through the blinds.
By the next day, a flyer for Trevor was up, missing. The same people who called him a nuisance last month were dropping off casseroles. A cop told me, storm anomalies. I kept my mouth shut, not interested in paperwork with my name on it. That night, the beans came back. The red ones stopped over my backyard. My back door handle clicked. I wedged a chair under it because that's what I'd seen in movies. The chair moved an inch by itself, then the rest of the way, like someone on the other side was being polite. My phone rang. Caller ID said, Mom. I let it die. Then unknown. Then Trevor. Then my own number. I picked up because I make bad choices. I said, if it's you, say the word. I didn't know what word I wanted until I asked. Silence. I heard a smile. My voice said, receipt. Close. That's a story from when I was 19. Not the word I meant. I hung up. It called back as my boss, my landlord, and the kid from the corner store. Each time it threw a word that was almost right. None were right. At 3:12, 3 knocks hit the front door, 3 the back, then 3 inside the wall by the thermostat. I moved to the bathroom and sat in the tub with the curtain open. I stayed there until the light changed.
The day after, I took a cash shift at the salvage yard on Sweeten Creek. Rook runs it. Old, quiet, hands like cable. He said, don't look under the rolling gate after midnight. I asked why. He shook his head. That was the whole answer. That same night, I was in Rook's office because scrap felt safer than drywall. Power cut, the fan died. The hum didn't. It sat in my teeth like pressure. Under the rolling gate, a black rectangle opened. Not a shadow. A hallway straight down into somewhere that isn't the yard. Rook's voice came from inside it and said, don't. It sounded like him, and not like him at the same time. A shape stood up in there. Person enough if you didn't focus. It had my posture, Trevor's gut, Rook's limp. It smiled with my mouth, but blinked off by half a beat. It said open. I said, say the word. It said receipt. Too fast. I slid a broken tie rod under the gate. It vanished without a sound. A second later, something hit the office roof. I rolled the gate down hard. The rectangle rippled and was gone. I sat in the chair until day shift came in and pretended not to see me. After that, I changed how I lived. I only answered to hey. Nobody said my name in my house. I taped over the TV LED, unplugged the microwave, and fixed the blackout curtain seam I'd hung crooked. Not long after, the power cut again, but the fridge light turned red anyway. I shut it. My fingers came away with black residue. The back door opened an inch without me. The hall cooled. My own face leaned around the corner. Not a reflection. Me, but too smooth. New. The smile was careful. He said, hey, in my voice, without the scratch. He stepped without moving the air. He put his hand on my shoulder. It was cold and had weight only where it touched. He said, you're tired. Let us carry some. I swung the bat. It went through something thick and then through nothing. He faded out. The hall stayed cold.
The next morning, there was a box on my porch. No label. Inside was a second bat that looked exactly like mine. Same dent, same grease ring on the handle. The handle said, not yours. I put it next to my bat and didn't pick up either. Later that night, the roof groaned like someone heavy was choosing boards. A thin red line crawled across the ceiling and stopped over my face. The paint swelled. A clear drip hung an inch above my nose and didn't fall. I got out of that room and slept on the floor in the hall. It wasn't sleep. It was waiting. The next day, the kid at the bodega used my high school nickname. He shouldn't know it. His eyelids blinked, one at a time. I left cash on the counter and walked out. That night, I woke up because a hand was smoothing my hair, careful and cold. I opened my eyes. My face was 2 inches from mine. Same eyes, same jaw, cleaned up. It smiled soft and said my name like it belonged to it. Earlier, I'd written, "Not for you," on my palm with a marker. I put my palm on its cheek, the letters printed faint and faded. It waited. I felt tears come and stop. I whispered, "No." It said, "We'll wait," and was gone. By the next afternoon, the church lady told me God was testing us. The landlord said rent. The city said grid upgrades. Rook stopped answering. Trevor's flyer was already yellow. Someone left a teddy bear on his steps. Someone else took it. That's this block.
That evening, my front door unlocked by itself. The chain slid off. A shape set my old duffel in the hall and unzipped it. Inside was nothing. Not fabric, not bottom. The floor under it looked dull. The shape said, "We packed." I asked, "Where?" It said, "Through." I shut the bag with my foot. It didn't fight. It waited. I opened the back door to make my own choice. The yard had a hallway in it now. Straight lines, black, people-shaped figures at the far end. One looked like Trevor, one like Rook, one like me, but the eyes were too clear. The red beam thickened to my threshold. I shut the door. The door bowed. The chain creaked. A handprint grew in the wood from the inside. I rolled the fridge in front of it. The pressure eased. I laughed because it stopped for a fridge. The day after that, I tried to be a person. I stripped wire until my hands hurt. In Rook's office, a ledger sat open with a blank week. The inside of the rolling gate had deep scratches. I walked home and didn't look up. That night, I sat on the floor with my back to the couch and the bat across my legs. I set a timer for every 15 minutes so I wouldn't sink too deep. At 1:03, the timer beeped and a voice in the wall said my name in my mom's tone, then my dad's, then mine, then a fourth voice that fit too well. I threw the timer. It kept beeping. I smashed it. It kept beeping. I pulled the batteries. It stopped. 3 taps hit the wall in a row. I waited for the next. It didn't come. I still waited.
The next morning, I taped the bathroom mirror and all the door seams. I wrote my rules on a past due notice and stuck it to the fridge. 1. Don't look long. 2. Don't answer. 3. Don't step through. 4. Don't prove you're you. Make it fail first. 5. Your name is a key. Keep it. 6. Pain is rent. Pay it. Those are mine. I kept them. After midnight, I woke to running water. The shower was on. The curtain was closed. I stood there with the bat and listened to water hit tile. I pulled the curtain. The tub was empty. The water shut off by itself. The drain said, "Please," in a small voice that matched me at 9. I closed the bathroom door and wedged a chair. A half hour later, the chair slid away on its own. I got sick in the sink and didn't clean it up. By the following afternoon, a cop I didn't know knocked. He used my full name, then my old nickname. He asked to come in. I said no. He blinked one eye, then the other. I shut the door and held the knob. He breathed once through his nose and left without footsteps. When I looked through the peephole, he wasn't there. When I opened the door, 2 clean circles sat in the dust on the mat. I swept them, and they came back. That night, the TV turned on to static while unplugged. Blocks formed, then a hallway, then my living room from higher than my ceiling. I unplugged it again. It stayed on. I covered it with a blanket. The static pushed through the cloth. I put it face down. The screen still showed my ceiling. I turned my back, sat on the floor, and covered my ears. I heard my name without my ears. The next day, my phone showed 2 black photos. The third had a faint rectangle. The fourth had it closer. The fifth had a shoulder smear. The sixth said open in red. The timestamps were 2 minutes ahead. I put the phone face down and didn't move. Later that night, I woke with my hair being smoothed again. I didn't open my eyes. I said, "Get out." It said, "We'll wait," and tapped my chest once. My heart tripped and reset. When I finally looked, the clock said 3:33 and the back door clicked locked. I hadn't left it open. The next morning, I went to the bodega for tape. The kid said, "Rough night?" I didn't answer. He watched me and said my name under his breath just to see. I left the cash and walked out. Now we're back to tonight, and I'm typing all that happens so I don't hand it everything. The power stayed on. That doesn't mean anything. At 12:17, my front door unlocked and relocked itself. I heard one step in the hall. A thin red line is on my kitchen wall from baseboard to ceiling. It isn't a reflection. It's a cut. The paint on either side is darker. The wood around it feels warm without heat. The line is exactly my height. The second bat is by the door with the handle turned toward me. I didn't set it that way. My real bat is next to it. Someone added "Welcome Home" on the handle in my handwriting while I was in the bathroom. I didn't write it. My phone buzzed while I typed this. An unsaved number sent a photo of my back from 5 feet away. I'm in this hoodie. I'm at this table. The next photo shows the kitchen door open. It's shut here. Next shows it wider. Next shows a hallway where my yard should be. Next shows me standing. Next shows me walking. Next shows nothing. I'm not standing up. I'm going to post this, and if it stays, I'm still here. If it disappears, I'm a flyer. Don't come looking. You won't find a body. You'll find circles on a mat, a fridge pushed against a door, and 2 bats that both feel warm when you touch them. Here are the rules again, so you don't have to scroll. If you hear your name after midnight, don't answer. If something knocks from inside your wall, don't knock back. If you see a thin red line on a door or ceiling, don't touch it. If your reflection moves first, tape your mirrors. If your phone sends you photos from 2 minutes ahead, don't get up. Don't write your name. Don't whisper it. Keep it off your tongue until the sun is obvious. Right now, there's breath on my neck. Cool and steady. It wants me to turn around. I won't. It just said my name again. Lower. Done with being polite. A glass touched down on my counter. Soft. I didn't set it. I'm ending here. If you're in Asheville and your power blinks tonight, don't play with it. Close your blinds. Put a chair under the knob. Keep your mouth shut. Wait for morning. If you want proof, I hope your porch light turns red at 12:31 and your TV turns on without a cord and your own voice tells you to open the door. I'm pressing post now. If your phone buzzes from my number 5 minutes after you read this, it isn't me. Don't answer. And don't say my name while you talk about this. Keep your face. Keep your heavy parts. Someone in the hall just said, "Close the door." The door is closed. I'm not getting up. Post.